I'm Kendra Cook, your host for the DCTV Daily News program out of Dove Creek, Colorado. The Dolores County Broadcasting Network is the producer of DCTV with support from the Southwest Colorado TV Translator Association. That's the special district association responsible for bringing the area free-to-access TV stations over the air by antenna. This is a community TV station, so if there's a news story or event information that you would like to share, you can call us. The number is 970-677-4119. If you're a business or organization, we welcome you to find out about sponsorship opportunities for banners or video segments run on the channel. This is the Friday program for July 17th, 2020. DCTV Daily News. And so you probably have already received a text alert notice that the Colorado State Governor has issued a statewide mandate to wear masks or face coverings for people over 10 in public indoor places, and those with underlying health conditions are exempt. So what does that exactly mean on a day-to-day life here in the Four Corners? Well, the Journal with AP published this article about the new change that went into effect last night at midnight. Colorado Governor Jared Polis said on Thursday he's issuing an executive order requiring face coverings in indoor public areas to help curb the spread of the coronavirus. Polis, a Democrat, had long resisted issuing a statewide mask mandate, but he has come under increasing pressure from some lawmakers and business owners as coronavirus cases and hospitalizations mount in Colorado. Allegedly. Several local governments have caused confusion by opting out of mask orders issued by individual county health departments. Polis said his order, which will override those local decisions, will add, quote, statewide clarity, moral clarity, health clarity, no matter where you live, no matter how you work, end quote. The virus has spread less in areas that have had mask wearing orders by a statistically significant amount, and that is an incredibly important data point for me in making this statewide. Polis said, we have a choice in Colorado, either more mask wearing and more attention to social distancing or more damage to our economy and loss of life, end quote. Dr. Rachel Harley, the state epidemiologist, pointed to an increase in cases and hospitalizations. The data suggests a recent reduction in social distancing and an influx of visitors from hotspot states like Texas, Florida, and California contributed to a risk that Colorado could exceed its intensive care unit hospital capacity by September. Quote, we're really on the knife's edge, Polis said. Many nearby states have shown us what will happen if we don't regain our footing and take social distancing and masks seriously. Polis's order, which takes effect again at midnight yesterday, Thursday, applies to people older than 10 and allows for several exemptions, including when eating at a restaurant, kind of obvious, and exercising alone. Police officers, firefighters, and EMTs also are exempt from the order because masks could hinder their ability to communicate, Polis said. The governor has recently become more vocal about the importance of wearing a mask. They also mentioned that people in the media are not necessarily needing to wear masks when they're reporting by themselves in a room alone. Quote, wear a damn mask, he did say, that was Polis, at a news conference last week. He called people who refuse to wear masks, quote, selfish bastards, in a Facebook post on Sunday. Polis was joined on Thursday by Denver Mayor Michael Hancock, a Democrat, and Aurora Mayor Mike Kaufman, a Republican, who supported the statewide order. Quote, this is really, again, the least invasive approach that we can do as a preventative strategy, Kaufman said. But some other Republicans, including House Minority Leader Patrick Neville, assailed the order, arguing in part that the state's COVID-19 death rate is down dramatically from this spring. Quote, the governor seems to believe that those who make educated decisions for themselves are, quote, selfish bastards, Neville said in a statement. Although national health officials have called on people to wear face coverings, President Donald Trump's administration has not issued any nationwide guidance. 26 states and the District of Columbia now require masks. More than 38,000 people have tested positive for the coronavirus here in Colorado, and more than 1,700 people have died with the disease, that according to state health officials, allegedly. And a side note that the data has been in question since the very beginning, when coding a death certificate was incentivized financially to benefit the hospital to have it be listed as COVID-19. Certainly ethical issues are critical in the material that all of the rest of the assumptions and guidance is being based upon. And the article continues that for most people, the coronavirus causes mild or moderate symptoms such as fever and cough. For some, especially older adults and people with existing health problems, it can cause more severe illness, including pneumonia and death. The vast majority of people do recover. And that's probably true for the regular influenza as well. And the other big news from last night was that the Dolores County Public Health Department updated the latest tests for COVID-19 coronavirus here in Dolores County, and the first positive adult case has been identified, with no further details as yet available to where it came from. Obviously, it would be a different reaction if it was based out of Rico or Dove Creek for both populations' sake. So the graphic here shows now 75 tests and 1 positive, no deaths, and nothing said about the first case being active, hospitalized, or asymptomatic. And the next county commissioner board meeting, which is also our county health board, will be Monday, July 20th, with the draft agenda only showing an old business discussion on a review of the courthouse entrance procedures. I'm sure they will also be addressing the new recent COVID case. Currently, there are signs requesting those who enter the government building here to wear a mask. A security detail will greet you and direct you to the office you wish to visit. The courthouse is open Monday through Thursday, 8:30 to 4:30, and now remains at a half day for Friday. They are doing a general data count to see if Friday should be back to a full day or not. Originally, the extra day was for thorough cleaning, with the 2 days of it being closed to everyone over the weekend. If you have an opinion at every board meeting, there is time allowed for public general comments. The Zoom link is listed on the DCBOCC Facebook page and linked up on our DCTV Daily News Facebook page as well. And now let's take a look at the weather over the weekend and into next week. Today, isolated showers and thunderstorms between 2 and 4 p.m. this afternoon, with partly sunny skies and a high near 85 on the day. South winds around 10 miles an hour, with only a 20% chance for any precipitation. It really depends on whether you're under the right cloud or not. Tonight, mostly cloudy and a low around 59 degrees, with northeast winds 5 to 10 miles an hour, shifting back around from the south. Then Saturday, mostly sunny and a high near 88 degrees. Again, we see light winds at 5 to 10 miles an hour, shifting from the south to the north. Saturday night, mostly clear and a low around 59. The winds calm down into Sunday, with a mostly sunny day on tap and a high near 90 for sunny, calm winds, but there could be some gusts to 25 miles an hour. Sunday night, partly cloudy and a low around 60. Then into next week, it starts out looking hot and dry again. For Monday, sunny with a high near 91 degrees. Monday night, partly cloudy and a low around 60. Then Tuesday, there's a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. Mostly sunny skies and a high near 88 for Tuesday night. That slight chance for showers continues before midnight, and then mostly cloudy overall with a low around 58. That may cool things back a bit into Wednesday with partly sunny skies and a high near 86. Wednesday night, partly cloudy and a low around 57. And now back to the news. So if you're not full of the Project COVID-19 continuing or second wave or phase or whatever the various offices nationally and state related want to express, here's some more things to ponder. Tourism. It's summer, lots of us, not me, are getting to go out on the lakes, go camping or fishing, hiking, etc., and enjoying some classic Colorado outdoor fun. For others, things like concerts and other travels have been cut short. Then there is the other side of freedom to travel safely. That's if you are a tourism-based economy. Do you want people from all over to come to your town and potentially bring diseases, or not? This is where that herd immunity theory steps up quite nicely to provide strength in numbers, an emphasis on creating and supporting a healthy community instead of one afraid and alone and not encouraging support of the underlying conditions of the general immune health of any population. So, for Dolores County, mostly it is still a pass-through county with regard to tourism. For others, the destinations may be bringing in money, but maybe be making people sick as well. The Durango Herald reported that La Plata County is experiencing an uptick in COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations at Mercy Regional Medical Center. That according to Health Department data and comments made this past week at a Durango City Council meeting. To slow the spread of COVID-19, states like New Mexico have instituted travel restrictions, such as a voluntary self-quarantine of 14 days for anyone, including residents, who spend any amount of time outside of the state's borders. Mask wearing is mandatory in New Mexico. Everyone older than the age of 2 is required to wear a mask. People caught not wearing masks could be fined $100. Durango residents concerned about the number of out-of-state tourists are pushing for Colorado to enact similar measures, considering the high number of cases in neighboring states. In Arizona, officials reported 4,273 newly confirmed COVID-19 cases Tuesday and an all-time high in hospitalizations. Ron Wasney, a Bayfield resident, said he understands that the state and its businesses rely on tourism. Quote, "But what is more important, your life or money? Wesney wrote in an email to the Durango Herald. Wesney said that he has run into travelers from high-risk areas like Maryland who are waiting out the virus in places like Durango. To stop the growth of cases in Colorado, Wesney said Polis and San Juan Basin Public Health have to shut down our borders now. Until this happens, nothing will change. But Polis said in a Tuesday conference on Tuesday that New Mexico or any other state does not have the authority to enforce its 14-day quarantine rule for residents with jail time, unless law enforcement has reason to believe someone is breaking the law or not adhering to the health advisory. You can't be stopped or forced to leave the state. Polis said that the spread of COVID-19 will, quote, cause widespread economic and human devastation in Colorado, but, quote, how much it spreads depends on the social environment we give it to spread. Overall, Colorado has done better than places like Texas, Arizona, and New Mexico at wearing masks and social distancing, according to Polis. But recently he said, quote, some of us got complacent and were not wearing masks as often or social distancing enough. For Polis, beating COVID-19 is more about, quote, getting simple things right, like mask wearing and reducing social interactions on an individual level, and less about imposing travel restrictions. The restrictions in New Mexico are, quote, largely voluntary, Polis said, as SJBPH continues to identify local community transmissions of COVID-19. The virus is, quote, circulating within southwest Colorado communities, regardless of whether it's being introduced by out-of-state visitors, spokeswoman Claire Nine said in her statement. However, Ninde said that it is critical that visitors and residents alike adopt safe practices to control the spread of COVID-19, including reducing unnecessary travel. But both La Plata County and Archuleta County see a fair amount of essential travel from other states for work or medical care, Ninde said. Mask wearing, mandatory or otherwise, has proved controversial in southwest Colorado. Like most Coloradans, I believe in bodily autonomy, Polis said. But town ordinances to require wearing a mask in stores, restaurants, and other locations are, quote, protecting the right for others to live, like speeding laws that reduce the number of car accidents, he said. The mask controversy stems from Coloradans, quote, trying to balance sincere belief in liberty with understanding these decisions affect others, Polis said. But in terms of enforcing the wearing of masks, Polis said there isn't an easy way to do that. Quote, we can't have a police officer in every store, Polis said. And that is what you will find in all of the last 24 hours of discussions in our corner of southwest Colorado. It's a mandate, not a law, so, quote, enforcement is a challenge. Some counties, like San Miguel, have expressed a dedication to enforcement through their sheriff's department, while others are not wanting to get involved with the health issues from an officer of the peace point of view. Stores must mandate the masks. However, the exemption of having an underlying health condition combined with the privacy of HIPAA laws that make it illegal to ask questions about a health condition in public will continue to cause a great deal of residents both not wearing a mask and store owners not demanding wearing masks to not violate that law. And that is juxtaposed with others wearing the mask face coverings and demanding clients, customers, etc. wear face coverings or not be allowed in their establishments. Again, a final side note on this for today, headed into the weekend. Why isn't there a push to help distribute healthy supplements, education on nutrition, particularly with regard to viral infections, but overall as well? That's what I would like to see, not a Band-Aid after the horse got out of the barn, sorry to mix metaphors, but address the underlying condition before the human gets sick. And stress, anger, and fear provide just the opposite to healthy living. As the Beatles sang, love is all you need, and we need a lot more of love for sure. And the Journal reported with a file photo on an injured mountain biker that was rescued on Sunday from the Colorado Trail east of Rico and was airlifted out, that according to Dolores County Search and Rescue. A report by Captain Keith Kiesling, who is also our emergency manager here in the Dove Creek Press, said that the Dolores County Sheriff's Office was notified about 1 p.m. about an activated GPS tracking device in the county. Calls to family and the International Emergency Response Coordination Center led to the discovery of an injured 59-year-old cyclist near Section Point at 11,756 feet of elevation. More than 33 rescuers from 6 agencies took part in the operation. Flight for Life launched from Durango and located the party of 3 cyclists. The helicopter landed at a lower elevation to offload some weight, and they landed near the injured party, Kiesling said. After a medical assessment, the injuries were not life-threatening, but the person could not self-extract and elected to be flown to the trailhead. After refusing further transport, the injured person used private transportation for follow-up care. And another political update on the Senate race here in Colorado with just 109 days till election November 3rd. After last month's primary, incumbent Republican Senator Cory Gardner has begun campaigning in earnest against former Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper. It's a race that has received national attention as one of the key seats for both Democrats and Republicans within the Senate. We're going to see this race become highly nationalized, said Paul DeBell, assistant professor of political science at Fort Lewis College. We're one of the few seats that the fate of the Senate relies upon. Polls conducted in June have so far shown Hickenlooper with a double-digit lead over Gardner, with the overall mood of Colorado seen as leaning Democratic. I didn't get a call. A spokesperson for Hickenlooper's campaign said in the month of June that the campaign reached out to 2 million voters via text or calling. He was a relatively popular governor, and he has a large base of support in Colorado, DeBell said. Gardner won a tight race in 2014, eking out a victory by less than 2 percentage points over incumbent Senator Mark Udall. Ads aired by Gardner and groups supporting him at the time painted Udall as someone who was in lockstep with President Barack Obama and appealed to Coloradans' independent streak. Colorado has more unaffiliated voters than either Democrats or Republicans, which DeBell said leaves room for either candidate to reach out to voters outside of their party base. In 2020, though, Gardner is the incumbent senator, being tied closely to the president. In February, President Donald Trump hosted a campaign event with the senator in Colorado Springs, and Gardner has been walking a fine line between supporting his fellow Republican in the Oval Office and maintaining an image as an independent politician here in Colorado. The Trump administration, particularly in light of the COVID response and in light of the handling of issues surrounding the racial justice and equity movement, has lost some headway with independents, DeBell said, but that could be a difficult thing for Gardner to overcome. Gardner welcomed the president's support, saying he hoped the president would come to Colorado to sign the Great American Outdoors Act or tour the new Bureau of Land Management headquarters in Grand Junction or the U.S. Space Force facilities at Peterson Air Force Base in Colorado Springs. Quote, "I hope the president comes to Colorado. I'd like to see the entire Colorado congressional delegation join him," Gardner said that in an interview to the Durango Herald. Both Senate candidates will travel around the state even as Colorado navigates the coronavirus pandemic, and said they will be following community guidelines along the way. But the election will be a test of the campaign's infrastructure as they work to reach voters who may be hesitant to leave home. Quote, "With the pandemic, we've obviously had to focus on saving people's jobs and saving people's businesses and providing help to individuals who have been hurt through this pandemic, both from a health standpoint as well as an economic standpoint," Gardner said. Trump's response to the pandemic seems to be weighing down his support, as his national approval rating currently drops to 40%, nearing the lowest of his presidency, which was pretty high. That could hurt Gardner's re-election chances. Trump has in many ways been able to dominate political messages. He's very savvy with understanding how the news cycle works, DeBell said, but he's up against something that literally kills people. For Hickenlooper, the key is to avoid the early accusations of corruption brought up during the primary by rival Andrew Romanoff and continue to tie his opponent to Trump, DeBell said. "I think Hickenlooper has the great advantage of name recognition. That's a big deal," DeBell said. "When you combine that with a movement at a state level for Colorado to become more left-leaning, particularly in Denver, that I think bodes pretty well for a pretty stable lead." Again, there are 109 days to go. Lots could happen within that time frame, and we'll be sure to follow up here at DCTV, and be sure to register to vote if you aren't already. And look for links to these types of stories and articles on our Facebook page, which is DCTV Daily News, where you can also watch the program replay along with news links and stories of local interest. And you too can share other events or news and join in on the conversation. Again, it's your local community TV station. If you have something that you would like to share, contact us. The email is dcbnnews@gmail.com, or you can call us and leave a message at 970-677-4119. Thanks for tuning in to DCTV Daily News. Programs are broadcast Monday through Friday with replays online on our YouTube channel or DCTV Daily News page on Facebook. And if you like the program, please do like and follow us on Facebook and share it with your friends and family. This has been a production of DCTV for the DCTV Daily News program out of Dove Creek, Colorado, USA. I'm Kendra Cook. Again, thank you for watching and have a wonderful weekend.